Abandoned ship. Abandoned ship. Abandoned ship. Abandoned ship. Abandoned ship.
Hopefully it's given something for audiences to think about their relationship with the river and water in general.
Double pendulum kind of looks at, the politics of how breathing is affected by pollution. It looks at the different lung capacities of male and female. It looks at how race impacts on how we breathe, and also, how where we live geographically kind of impacts on how we breathe.
So if you're some sort of bug or a mosquito, these are the sounds you really don't want to hear, because it means you're going to be dead very, very soon. So I'm just going to play them very briefly, and then we can go on with the evening.
On the walk, you will be able to listen to the bats flying about, finding food through the detector. The signal from the bats will be fed into like a smartphone, so you'll be able to hear and see the calls at the same time.
I was intrigued to have a conversation with Professor Frank Kelly and the potential to respond to some of the underlying ideas and phenomena, and how his research gave a very particular sense of the body.
I hope the image of the shifting rhythms of the breathing, sometimes regular, sometimes faulty, sometimes laboured, can create a consciousness about the act of breathing.
We've provided her with a lot of video footage from our work in the deep ocean. We've talked at length about our work, which is a kind of cross between science and exploration, because we often go to places where other humans have not been previously.
So I hope that people might walk away with a kind of odd sense of everything being kind of, even if it's very subtle, sort of saturated with that kind of human impact.
It's being broadcast on Basic FM at the point where the run is finishing. So it's very directly aimed at people who have completed the race, either as runners or as spectators, and are kind of going home and have finished.
The water's been rising so fast.
That if somehow, in a kind of half-asleep state, you can put people in a kind of half-asleep state, portray this sort of notion of a flooded Newcastle, perhaps somehow that will enter the subconscious enough to trigger a kind of behavioural change in the sort of normal, daily reality.
Okay. So counting down from 10. 10. 9. 8.
We demand truth and we demand facts, but frankly, when we get them, we tend to hide away from them. So what do? I think we do respond to stories, to human emotions. We respond to art, we respond to poetry, and we're moved by these things, and that's the whole point. But we're not moved by science.
It's an upbeat message that if we are honest about where we are, and we're probably getting to the point where we're on the cusp of almost leaving it too late, then we still have some opportunities to make some changes that could deliver a climate resilient and livable future.
Now to our hamstring curl. That's it. You've got it. The most important thing is to keep the system going. That's it. Keep it moving now. Keep consuming all the time. That's what it's all about.
This September in Bristol, community members who live work or find community somehow within a flood risk area of the city, join together to take a sports pitch marker around the edge of the flood risk zone and over a 2-week period demarcate an extensive area of the city using this chalk marker to create a long chalk line.
So what I'm hoping it'll happen for residents is that their ideas and their noticing of what the line means to them, how it will keep them safe, their houses, their property, their children, will become more aware of the possibilities. And they'll go and look for their own solutions that they can own, belong to part of their community, and that maybe one day, if there is a big flood, they'll look back at HighWaterline and think, well, you helped us to start looking.